What's up, movie lovers? Today we're diving into something that might be more painful than getting shot by Greedo. The 5 worst films in Harrison Ford's otherwise legendary career. Now, before you force choke me through your screen, remember, even the greatest actors sometimes make choices that make us wonder if they were replaced by replicants. Look, we all love Harrison Ford. He's Han Solo, Indiana Jones, Rick Deckard. He's basically shaped our collective childhood more than sugar cereals and Saturday morning cartoons combined. But even the Millennium Falcon has its off days, and boy, did Ford have some spectacular crash landings throughout his career. So grab your fedora, strap in, and let's explore these cinematic disasters that even the Ark of the Covenant wouldn't want to preserve. Remember to hit that subscribe button faster than Indy running from a boulder, and let's dive in. Oh boy, where do we start with this one? Imagine if someone took a buddy cop movie, threw it in a blender with a Hollywood satire, and then forgot to put the lid on. That's Hollywood homicide for you, a mess that sprays everywhere and leaves everyone wondering who's going to clean it up. Ford plays Joe Gavilan, a detective who moonlights as a real estate agent because apparently that's what you do when you're having a mid-career crisis in Los Angeles. He's paired with Josh Hartnett, who seems about as comfortable in his role as a vegetarian at a barbecue competition. The movie tries to be funny. Oh, how it tries. There's this chase scene where Ford commandeers a kid's bicycle, and instead of getting the usual Harrison Ford intensity, we get something that looks like your dad trying to be cool at a skate park. It's less get off my plane, and more get off my lawn. The worst part? Ford spends half the movie trying to close real estate deals on his phone while investigating murders. I'm not kidding. There's literally a scene where he's at a crime scene, standing over a body, and he's talking about property values. It's like watching a Law and Order episode written by a real estate agent who's had too much coffee. As one critic put it, Hollywood homicide is like watching your cool uncle try to dab at a wedding. Painful, unnecessary, and something everyone wants to forget. If you ever wanted to watch Harrison Ford mope around for 2.5 hours, and I mean really mope, then boy, do I have the movie for you. Random Hearts is what happens when someone decides to make a romance thriller, but forgets both the romance and the thrills. The premise actually sounds interesting. Ford plays a cop who discovers his wife was having an affair when she dies in a plane crash alongside her lover. He then connects with the lover's widow, played by Kristen Scott Thomas. Sounds juicy, right? Wrong. It's about as exciting as watching paint dry in slow motion while someone reads you the phone book. The chemistry between Ford and Thomas is so non-existent, it makes the Star Wars prequels look like Casablanca. They spend most of the movie staring at each other with expressions that suggest they're both trying to remember if they left the stove on. There's also this completely unnecessary subplot about police corruption that feels like it wandered in from a different movie, got lost, and decided to stay. It's like the filmmaker couldn't decide if they were making Sleepless in Seattle or Training Day, and just said, why not both? One critic wrote, Random Hearts proves that even Harrison Ford's charisma has its limits, and this movie found them, crossed them, and kept going until it hit a wall. Paranoia, a movie so forgettable that even while I'm watching it, I'm forgetting it. This tech thriller makes The Net look like The Social Network. Ford plays Jock Goddard, a tech company CEO who, you know what? It doesn't matter. Nothing in this movie matters. It's like someone watched Wall Street, didn't understand what made it good, and decided to remake it with smartphones and Harrison Ford's weird blonde hair. Speaking of which, who convinced Harrison Ford to dye his hair that color? It looks like he's wearing a helmet made of butterscotch pudding. Between this and Liam Hemsworth's wooden performance, the most authentic thing in the movie is the product placement. The movie tries to be a sexy, high-stakes corporate espionage thriller, but it's about as sexy and thrilling as a PowerPoint presentation about printer maintenance. There are scenes where people dramatically type on computers while looking intense, which is cinema code for we don't know how to make this interesting. As one reviewer put it, paranoia is so bad it will make you paranoid about watching Harrison Ford movies again. If you've ever thought, hey, I'd love to see Harrison Ford in a movie that tries to be Crash but ends up crashing and burning, then Crossing Over is the film for you. Ford plays Max Brogan, an immigration officer with a heart of gold in a movie that thinks having good intentions is the same thing as having good execution. This film tackles the complex issue of immigration with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer hitting a glass window. The movie juggles multiple storylines like a drunk circus performer. Technically, they're all up in the air, but nobody knows where they're going to land, and someone's probably going to get hurt. Harrison Ford tries his best to bring gravitas to his role, but he's given dialogue that sounds like it was written by someone whose sole specialty is fortune cookies and Hallmark cards. There's this one scene where he cradles a kid and looks sad, and you can almost see him thinking about his paycheck. One critic summed it up perfectly. Crossing over crosses the line between meaningful drama and manipulative melodrama, then keeps crossing until it reaches unintentional comedy. Oh yes, we're going there. The movie that made fans wish the Ark of the Covenant had melted everyone's faces off before this could happen. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull isn't just a bad movie, it's a betrayal wrapped in CGI, stuffed with aliens, and served with a side of Shia LaBeouf swinging with monkeys. Let's start with the infamous nuking the fridge scene. You know your movie's bad when it replaces jumping the shark as the go-to phrase for when a franchise loses its mind. Indiana Jones survives a nuclear explosion by hiding in a lead-lined refrigerator. A refrigerator. The same guy who needed a leap of faith to cross a canyon in Last Crusade now bounces around in a Frigidaire like it's a bounce house. And then there are the aliens. Sorry, interdimensional beings. Because apparently, after fighting Nazis, cultists, and more Nazis, what Indiana Jones really needed was a close encounter of the absurd kind. It's like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg had a bet about how many childhood memories they could ruin in one movie. Let's not forget Mutt Williams, played by Shia LaBeouf, who spends half the movie doing his best Marlon Brando impression, and the other half swinging through the jungle with CGI monkeys like he's auditioning for a Tarzan reboot nobody asked for. There's this scene where Mutt is sword fighting while straddling two vehicles speeding through the jungle. It looks less like Indiana Jones and more like someone's fever dream after playing too much Temple Run. Yes, it made money and got decent reviews, but the fan reaction tells the real story. As one fan put it, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull isn't just a bad Indiana Jones movie, it's proof that sometimes not all fortune and glory is worth finding. Look, Harrison Ford is still a legend. He's like the cool dad of Hollywood. Even when he makes mistakes, we still love him. But these 5 movies, they're like finding out that cool dad once had a phase where he wore Crocs with socks and tried to rap at your birthday party. Sometimes it's better to just pretend these things never happened. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and hit that notification bell to catch our next deep dive into Hollywood's greatest what were they thinking moments. And hey, if you think I missed any of Harrison Ford's worst movies, let me know in the comments below. And remember, in the wise words of Indiana Jones,
it's not the years, it's the mileage.
And boy, did these movies add some rough mileage to Ford's career.